What in the world should you teach in a beginning photography class? The answer may surprise you, and I promise if you are going right for the exposure triangle, you, my friend, are on the wrong path. Let me get you set up for success in this quick and easy video. My name is Cyrissa. I'm the owner of Immerse Photography here in Ohio and the voice behind Sparkle Society, where I encourage, educate, and empower photographers to make informed decisions for their business. And I actually was an art teacher for 10 years, so I know a thing or two about teaching, and I've been teaching beginning photography classes for 8 years, so I've got data, experience, and facts to back me up. Let's dig in right now and figure out the 4 ways that you can figure out exactly what to teach in your first beginning photography class. So as photographers, we want everyone to fall in love with what we do, right? We want them to love our photos. We want them to have that pretty blurry background. We want to talk about 85s and 70 to 200s, and we want to get into all the good stuff. The problem is most of our students aren't going to have any of that advanced experience or that knowledge. And so if we go right to exposure triangle, if we go right to exposure compensation and white balance, they're going to sit there with like stars in their eyes and deer headlights and be like, and they might just smile and nod, truly not understanding what the heck it is that you're talking about. So when you teach a beginning photography class, you need to figure out exactly what it is that they need to know. So number 1, you need to ask yourself, what skills do they need to have regardless of the camera that they're working with? Because a lot of us are snobs, can I say that? We want people to have a DSLR, right? We want them to have these professional cameras, and that's the only thing that counts as a photograph. But as a mom, I'm a professional photographer, you guys, I love my job. But as a mom, sometimes this is the only camera I have with me, and I want to know how to take better photos with this thing. Or maybe I can only afford a $200 point and shoot. How do I take a better photo with that? So we have to ask ourselves the question, what does every photographer need to know regardless of the camera it is or the camera that they have to work with? And once we know that information, we can start to figure out what it is that we need to teach. Number 2, what are the questions that you are asked over and over and over again? Those are the things that you bring into your photography class. You guys, most moms that I talk to are like, how do I get, that like pretty blurry background where like my kid's in focus and the background isn't? Like that's what they want to know. Or, hey, how do I take a photo where my kid isn't blurry and they're like going off the diving board but they're frozen, or they're playing basketball and it's not yellow? Or those are the questions that they ask over and over and over again. And so you need to find a way to weave them into your workshop. Why? Well, when we meet the needs of our students, we have to be really well aware of the perceived value. What I find valuable might not really be a value in my client's life. If I teach all of these things that only I think are important, my client's going to walk away and say, well, that was a waste of money. And then they're going to tell their friends like, yeah, it really wasn't worth it. Or they might even ask for a refund. And suddenly this class that you've so lovingly crafted and created isn't going to have a great reputation. And so we have got to find a way to balance as the professional, what is it that you need them to learn, and then what do they want to learn, and then you need to bring that together. That is that sweet spot as you're learning to teach a beginning photography class, as you're creating your curriculum. That is that sweet spot that you need to find. What do they need? What do they want? Number 3. Technically that's 6, but whatever, you get it. 3, we need to look and see what is it that is going to bring our clients success. I know for me, I want to over-deliver. I never want someone to take a workshop or watch a video or read a blog post and be like, oh, I didn't learn anything. Like I want to over-deliver. I want people to walk away being like, that was amazing. The problem is we're in a period of time where there is an information overload. Like you can basically get online and learn anything at any time. It's there. And so there's so much content, there's so much information that sometimes it's hard for people to know where to start. So if we try to teach them everything in a photography class, or we don't have a clear intention with what we're doing in our class, we might not be able to provide our students with an amazing experience. So what I encourage you to do is take a step back as you're figuring out what you're going to teach in a beginning photography class and ask yourself, what is going to determine my student's success? From their perspective. If they're able to take a photo of their child with a blurry background, are they going to feel success great. And that might not be your goal, and that's fine. But if that is, then we need to do actions and we need to do learning activities. And I need to have, teaching moments and curriculum that speaks to that. I want them to walk into my class not knowing how to take that photo. And by the end of the class, I have moved them through and enabled them to make it happen. They might not know everything about ISO. They might not truly understand white balance and how to use an Expo disc or Calvin or whatever, but I've taught them how to move from point A to point Z to experience that success. So you need to ask yourself when you're figuring out what to teach, what is it that will make my students feel successful and what will make me as the educator feel successful in teaching them. If you can have that goal in the back of your mind, it will drive every decision, every learning activity, every workshop, handout, PowerPoint, whatever. It's going to drive everything you do and will give you so much clarity as you are creating your content. So ask yourself, what is going to help them feel success? And that, my friend, is where you focus your energy. Number 4, and this is my sneaky little trick. So I want you to do a survey of your current audience and your family and friends. Okay, I want you to put something out and say hey, what do you guys want to learn in a beginning camera class? Or if you have people who have enrolled in a class, send them a survey before class actually arrives and say, hey, what do you know now? What do you hope to learn? What are your biggest questions? Because when you give people an opportunity to ask you questions, to tell you what they know, to show off what they don't know, you will be amazed at truly how much you do have to offer. Now, I actually have a survey that I've put together, and you are welcome to participate. It's a nationwide survey. We've already had thousands of people respond, and they've told us exactly what they want to learn in a beginning camera class, and you can actually copy that survey yourself and share it on your own page and get the results. So if you want, I'm going to go ahead and link that below, the survey. So if you want to grab the results from that survey and then share it yourself, go ahead and just sign up below. It's completely free. I will send it to you, and I would love for you to be able to see those results because it's fascinating. In that nationwide survey that I was just talking about, we asked people hey, if you had to change your aperture, would you know what button or knob to push? And 81% of people reported that they wouldn't even know, not that they didn't know what aperture was, they wouldn't even know what button to push to change their aperture. Guys, that should tell you right there. When we're teaching a beginning camera class, we need to focus on the basics and we need to figure out how we can lay a foundation so that they experience that success. So use your survey, use mine, borrow it, that's fine with me, but do that so that you have data to inform your decisions and let you know that you are on the right track as you are creating your beginning photography class. Now, I know this is overwhelming and it can be incredibly intimidating, but if you teach people the right things in a beginning camera class, they are going to be your best brand evangelist and they are going to be your client for life. Now, if you're ready to make this happen, there's zero reason that you have to stumble through it alone. I've created a guide that's going to walk you through the 8 things that you need to do before you teach your first class. And if you've taught a class and it didn't go well, you need this too. So you can grab that in the link below, but join the Sparkle Society community. Hit that subscribe button, stay along for the journey, because no matter if you want to learn more about teaching classes, social media, or business, I'm your girl and I'm going to help you glitter done. So hit one of those buttons below and I will see you, my friend, in class.